Hello. Okay, this is better than the lighting before my room. So you'll see me here on the couch. But I wanted to talk about box braids and cornrows once again because people seem to not understand that you cannot wear cornrows or box braids if you are not black, if you are not of African descent. Blackness is a culture. That means everyone who is black is one complete culture. Yes, there are cultures within the black race. Like, there are different ethnicities within African culture, different ethnicities within African American cultures, within Caribbean cultures, within Latinx cultures, Black British cultures, stuff like that. Like, there are different types of groups, Afro Europeans, Afro Asians, Blasians. We are very diverse. But as a whole, black people can culturally exchange and share different cultures. Yes, as an African American, braids, a lot of these braids came from Egypt, like this hairstyle came from North Africa, I believe. I believe so. Sure, I'm not North African. I'm not of North African descent. I'm West African. But cultural exchange is okay within black culture, within black African culture, because guess what? We are all black, so we can share. We can, share certain things like hairstyles or certain garbs like the shiki, stuff like that, because we are all black. We all recognize. It doesn't matter if we look different, if we are black, if we are of African descent, indigenous African descent, then, we can wear braids. We can, because we're black. See how that works? Whiteness is not a culture. Okay? It's not. What it is white supremacy. What it is violence. What it is oppression. I am not saying all white people are oppressive. I am not even saying that white people, like the group, is terrible. I am not saying that. What I am saying is whiteness, the ideal of whiteness, was created to oppress. That's what it was created to do. It separated itself from other cultures, from other races. Therefore, you don't have a culture. Your culture is to steal. Yes, you have ethnicities. Yes, you can be Italian. You can be Irish. You can have certain things that are a part of you. And you can be proud of that. But you cannot be proud to be white because there is nothing to be proud of when it comes to oppressing other people, especially black people, incorporating anti-blackness into white supremacy. So the fact that so many people do not understand that white girls cannot wear box braids is disheartening because people seem to understand police brutality, cultural appropriation until it comes to black womanhood and how non-black women cannot try to look like us or try to wear our hair because our hair is sacred. No, it's not always worn for religious reasons or ceremonial reasons or spiritual reasons like with dreadlocks, but still, we can do whatever we want with these hairstyles because it is a part of our culture. Just like Muslim women can do whatever they want with their hijabs because, yes, a lot of Muslim women wear hijabs for their religion, but they can also decorate it. They can also do things with it when it comes to showing it off to other people in public because that's their culture. Or with bindis or saris. When they wear that stuff in South Asian culture, Indian culture, it's usually done for religious reasons or ceremonial reasons, like bindis. A lot of times it's to indicate that a woman is married, but also it can be for fashionable reasons, but only for women within their culture. So for people who aren't part of the culture to say, well, it's just hair, it's just a pretty jewel, it's for fashionable purposes. For them, not you. You're not a part of that culture, so you don't get to partake in fashion within that culture. So with box braids, stop trying to look like us. Stop trying to wear our hair. Stop trying to get box braids because your black boyfriend, who probably thinks all black girls are ugly and have attitudes, told you to get hair like us. Stop it. On Facebook, there is a post where this white girl with blah 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 with red box braids surfaced, and people were commenting saying that's not appropriate. One little girl who's about 13 or 14 said black girls can't have anything. This looks ridiculous on her. I saw nothing wrong with the post. What I said I feel was a lot harsher because all she said was that it looked ridiculous. I straight up said it looked ugly, and she looked ugly because one, it was racially insensitive. Two, that was racist of her to imitate a style she saw on black women. Yes, cultural appropriation is a form of racism. Benevolent racism, sure, but racism nonetheless. I said She's ugly. Now the girl's not ugly. I looked her up. Her name is Shaylee Wild. She has a Facebook. Like, she's a pretty girl without the braids, but it did not flatter her. It did not frame her face well. She did not have any edges. And it's so funny when we don't have edges, or when we have nappy edges, people make fun of us when we get braids because we don't have that 3C India Westbrook's decorating her edges look like it recently surfaced in 2014, because braids started resurfacing back in 2013, because that was when I got box braids, the summer of 2013. And people were starting to realize that box braids were awesome again, because box braids were very popular in the 90s, but it kind of went out of style probably in 2005, or let's say 2007. And then it resurfaced again in 2013, but it didn't really start to create a cultural wave until 2014. And that was when white girls were starting to get box braids, because this was all during the whole Black Lives Matter, Black Girl Magic, Black Women Are Beautiful movement. The Black is Beautiful movement resurfaced in 2014 because it originally started in the 1960s, but then it had a revival just 2 years ago, or no, 3 years ago, because it's 2017 now. And now white girls want to defend their right to wear box braids, and how it's just a style and that they didn't know that it was a style. First of all, if you have to have Sade at the African hair salon to do your hair, or someone that is black doing your hair, then it's probably a black African hairstyle. Like, I am sick of these girls. Like, what pisses me off is there will be pages of African women that say African hair braiding, and girls would go there to get their hair braided, white girls, and then they would sit there and say, but it's not a white hairstyle, or it's not a black hairstyle. Why would you go to an African hairstylist that says African hair braiding and then say it's not a black hairstyle? Are you stupid? You go to the hood that's primarily for black people and then say, oh, this isn't a black hairstyle. You got the hairstyle because you saw a black girl wear it. You had your best friend Lakeisha do your hair. And now you want to sit here and say it's not a black hairstyle. Stop it. Stop it. Like, and then when I shared that page and said that the hairstyle looked ugly, I had a bunch of white people liking posts of people saying, black people saying, but if you wear weaves, then white girls can wear braids too. And then one guy who I know only prefers white girls, he is just that type, gonna sit there and say race doesn't matter. And then this other black girl said, well, my nephew is white passing, but his father is black, so she could be white passing. First of all, a white girl wearing box braids is not the same thing as Mariah Carey wearing box braids. I don't care if if she wore that ridiculous hairstyle in that My Love video. It did kind of look ridiculous on her, but it was cute, you know, the little puffy little curly thing with, you know, the cornrows. You know, it was cute, but it looked a little bit silly on Mariah, probably just because of her age, because it looked a little bit childish. Not because she looked white, but just because, like, it just looked childish. It looked like a little 13-year-old girl wearing baby fat hairstyle, you know, just a little bit childish. But I didn't care. Or in her Thank God I Found You video, the remix with Joe and the Brat, I believe. Or no, that wasn't the Brat. I think it was with Joe and Nas, because Always Be My Baby remix was with the Brat and Escape. But she had those little braids in her hair, and it looked cute on her. Yes, she looked white, but we all know that she's black, so we don't care. Or Jenna Frumi's the Instagram model. Sometimes she wears cornrows. She's half black and she's half French. You know, that's okay because she's black. Logic can do what he wants with his hair. He can wear cornrows because he's half black. If Halsey were to come out and wear box braids, I wouldn't care because she's black. That's her culture. If Kalani, I don't care because they are white passing black biracial people. That's okay. If you are white as snow, you cannot wear them. I am sorry. So stop bringing up white passing people to justify white people appropriating our culture, because white passing people are black. You know? Hey. So basically you're telling me you don't consider your white passing nephew black. You're saying that he's white because he looks white. Your mixed nephew is not the same thing as a white girl wearing box braids. to sit there and say, well, we don't know what her ethnicity is. She's a white girl. You know, she has her page. She is purely white. She tagged it. Who said that white girls couldn't wear box braids? And then took another picture saying, I have all you hoes mad. Now, I'm not sure what she was talking about. I'm not sure if she were trying to say black hoes were mad. I don't know the context, but she's clearly into some appropriation. She has a Facebook page and you're blogging people saying nigga. Like, girl, you are not black. You cannot do that. Like, yes, you are not saying it, but you shouldn't even be entertaining that. Like, stop it. I'm just really disgusted because growing up, I was ashamed to wear braids. I thought it was ugly. Back in the 5th grade, I used to wear braids a lot, but I decided, you know what? I'm sick of wearing these little balls in my hair. I'm sick of wearing these cornrows. You know, I just want to wear my hair free. I want to be loose like a white girl with her hair. So my mom decided, okay, fine. It was time for me to get an official perm because I decided I need a perm because I thought that's what I had to do to be pretty. And when I got a perm, I felt prettier. I thought I looked prettier. Honestly, my hair was on fleek though because I got those Shirley Temple curls, and girl, I thought I was the sexiest thing at 10 years old. But I stopped wearing cornrows for a long time until I was about 19 again, and they weren't cornrows, they were box braids, but I was 10 when I stopped wearing them, and then I was 19 when I started wearing braids again. So it was about 8 or 9 years since I had braids. And the reason why I didn't wear braids because I didn't want to look ethnic. I didn't want to look black. You know, I felt ashamed. And I thought braids were cute up until the 5th grade because I thought if other black girls can wear their hair loose, I should be able to wear my hair loose as well. I want to have long hair. I don't just want to have these little braids because I was ignorant enough to think that braids weren't a diverse hairstyle. I thought you could do more with straight hair, but you can do so much with braids. The only difference is that braids is braided hair and straight hair is non-braided hair. You can do French braids. You can put in little ponytail. You can even curl your braids. You can like dip them in hot water and you can make it look a little bit curly. You can put it in a bun. It's just so much diversity with braids. And to see it now being embraced on a white girl, it's just very jarring for me because I felt so ashamed of myself. I wanted to look white. I felt, you know, if only I were white, maybe I would get guys to ask me out. I thought if only I were white, I would feel prettier. I would feel and look prettier. And it was a very hard time for me. I tried to fit in with white girls. All the guys that I liked were white. And although some of my crushes were pretty genuine, you know, still, it just was hard for me to cope. Excuse me, it's getting dark because the sun is going down. So let me turn on this light. Oh, hold on for a second. Oh, it's 5 o'clock already. If you can hear me. Ooh, much better. Mas Mahor. But I was really ashamed of wearing braids in middle school because I thought if I am going to middle school, I need to look like a grown girl. And is that the mailman? It sure is. Okay. I think he said something. I hope he doesn't think that, you know, I'm having a psychotic break and talking to myself at this moment because I'm talking to a camera and it's not the ableist, but I really do sometimes have these little flashbacks or these mental breakdowns sometimes, and it gets pretty severe. But it's like a coming of age for black girls to get a perm because then they feel like a grown up, they feel grown, they feel very mature, and they get very excited when they get their first perm. And the problem is I didn't take care of my hair. I didn't put a scarf on it. I didn't brush it. I thought I had to be like a white girl and do nothing to her hair. No, if you have a young girl, if you have any sisters or nieces or a neighbor or a friend with a sister, tell them take care of your hair. even if they have a perm, take care of your hair, because your hair can grow with a perm. It's just about taking care of it. You know, if I had taken care of my hair and had more self love for myself, I probably would be a 10. I don't know, but I feel like if you have self love at such a young age, if you take care of yourself, if you wash, if you bathe, if you do a lot of self care, you'll be beautiful from the inside and the outside to yourself. So just love yourself, take care of yourself. I know with depression and body dysmorphia, it may be hard to just bring yourself up, but just take care of yourself. Anyway, I tried to explain why it was a problem for white girls to appropriate box braids, and people were just like, no, you know, you're racist and you're jealous and you're a hater and you can't criticize white women ever, because if you do, you'll look jealous. And even one girl that I really like she's cool, I don't have a problem with her, we just didn't agree on the fact that a white girl can't wear box braids. She said, you know, why can't we stick together as women? We need to uplift women instead of putting them down. It's not putting a woman down to tell her that she looks ridiculous with another person's hair, another person's culture. Stop wearing your culture, or stop wearing my culture on your head. Okay, stop trying to look like me. Stop trying to look ethnic. Okay, be yourself. For a group of people that's always bringing up the fact that we wear weaves to look white, it's funny because white girls are literally trying to look ethnic. They're literally trying to look exotic by plumping their lips, poking them out like this, or getting butt injections, all of that. And then we're the one that wants to look white because we saw Ronnie from a Players Club with that same hairstyle, or Miss Faith Evans with that hairstyle in the 90s, or Miss T. Boz, or Mary J. Blige with blonde hair, or Blue Cantrell, or a lot of black women with blonde hair, and decided, hey, I want to look like them too. But no, we want to look like a white girl because white girls are so pretty, and you know, black girls just aspire to look like them. Isn't it funny how when a white girl tries to look like us, it's cute and we should be happy and flattered and embrace her, but then when we try to look like a white girl, it's an insult. It's an insult because white girls are so pretty, and how dare these ugly little black bitches try to look like her. But then when a pretty little white girl tries to look like us, it's cute, you know, she's playing dress up. No, stop it. If we get fired for our hairstyles, if we get called ugly for our hairstyles, if we are suspended from school because of our hairstyles, then you don't get to wear them. I mean, if you felt ugly because black girls were making fun of you for a hairstyle that is theirs, well, now you know how we feel. People had no problem calling that little 13-year-old girl that called the cultural appropriation out a monkey, making fun of her hair. Like, she's a young girl. Apparently her father died. At least that's what someone said. And people were trying to contact her family and all of that. But come on now. Nothing that she said was wrong. Sure, she shouldn't be on Facebook talking to grown adults who don't give a fuck about her and will drag her. No, she don't need to be on there. But there was nothing wrong with what she says. And to be that young and to already understand misogyny war, that's really sad. Because I didn't understand misogyny war until I was about 19. But that's sad for me as well, because I wish that I was like Amanda Stenberg and knew more about pro-blackness and what misogyny war is, so I could have had self-love at that time. I wish I understood instead of trying to be a coon and trying to wear straight hair, that ugly little straight hair I had that, you know, was broken off and people had to cut it constantly because it had to grow healthily, all of that. Also, another thing, I'm sick of white women and black men playing the victim. For a group of people who claim to be so oppressed and a victim of society via misogyny and racism, you guys do so many gross things to black women. You abuse us, you make us feel like shit, you make us feel ugly, and for what? Because you don't like the way that we look? Because you feel like white women are better? Why? Like, we didn't do anything to deserve this, and that's what really kills me, is that we are the most oppressed group in this society. We've been raped, we've been robbed, we've been stolen, we've been stripped of our culture, we've been called ugly, we've been forced to wear these ugly little scarves around our heads, or we've been forced to cut off our hair because white people didn't like our natural hair, and they forced us to get a perm, they forced us to wear weaves and all of that just so we can get a job. And then you want to sit there and use the fact that we wear weaves to survive to why white girls can wear box braids or cornrows to say, well, if you wear weaves, then so can white girls when it comes to box braids. Box braids or braids aren't weaves, okay? What they are are extensions. They are braided into your hair. This is not a form of weave. Okay, so it's not the same thing. Like, you know, it's a black hairstyle because that's all you see on black women, or the black women at your local mall, or at your school, or on television, or on blogs. You know it's a black hairstyle. You know it's black women who primarily wear those styles. So stop lying and saying, well, I didn't think it had any exclusive rights to black women. Girl, stop it. It's just the fact that now that being a black girl is now seen as pretty and beautiful, you know, awesome, all these things, smart, intelligent, kind, and important. Now you want to hop on the wave because you feel like white girls are going out of style, a la Christopher Williams in New Jack City. It's sad. It's really sad, but you know, we've been the ones who were abused by you guys or your ancestors, black men and white women alike, but then they're the victims. And I feel if you are a white girl sitting in social studies class, your 7th grade social studies class, learning about the fact that white women abuse black women, raped them, beaten them, all that, as well as their husbands, and you feel as if it's white women who are the true victims and that black women are nothing but bullies who are hating on white women, you are disgusting. And you know what? I could care less if you were to crawl under a rock and die, because it's just really terrible for you to learn about slavery and to only care about black men because you have internalized misogyny and you see all women as competition, and it's even fueled more with your racism towards black women. Because that's all it is. It's just internalized misogyny. You don't even like women within your own race. But on top of black women fueled with your racism, it's 10 times worse. So no, you can't wear box braids. What you can do is learn about our culture, because if you truly want to learn about our culture, you would know why it's inappropriate for you to wear braids. That's all, folks.